Hey everybody, welcome to What's Up Wednesday. I want to touch base on a topic this week that I addressed back in June. In June, I talked a little bit about heat illness plans or heat illness prevention plans, and then also wildfire smoke. And I want to go back and revisit right now heat illness in general because we're seeing a lot of issues out in the field, and I think that it warrants a discussion. Now, as it is today, here we are, towards the end of July already. We're looking at 2024 being the hottest year on record, even exceeding 2023, which, in as long as we've been recording average temperatures, 2023 was the hottest. 2024 is set to surpass that. And I know I heard a story just last week of a worker who jumped up on a flatbed trailer, on a truck and trailer, to unload a flatbed and hadn't properly hydrated. There are probably other factors that went into it. It was very hot. As a result, the worker passed out and fell off the trailer, incurring pretty significant injuries from hitting the ground. And it just is a really good reminder that there are things that we need to do to make sure that our workforce is preparing for this heat. Now, one can argue that you're going to acclimatize over time, that as it gets warm, we get used to it. But, that's not always the case, and that's not enough. I mean, it's a key consideration in heat illness, but the fact is that we need to be taking breaks. We need to force our people to take breaks. We need to have cooling stations or cooling tents where they can get some cold water or lukewarm water for that matter and cool their internal body temperature or their core temperature. They need to be drinking, ideally, a liter of water, a small water bottle worth of water every hour when we're looking at temperatures in the 90 to 100 or 100 plus range. These are just key considerations. We all have heat illness programs and plans. We need to follow those plans. We need to educate our employees. We should really make sure, as I've mentioned in the past, that they eat something before they come to work in the morning. That's a big consideration, that they don't chug down an energy drink or two, because that doesn't help the situation, and that they drink lots of water throughout the day, like I mentioned, and take time to cool and let their core body temperature come down just a little bit. We kind of, I think, fall into this mode of feeling like people understand it and they seem to be doing just fine. But then out of the blue, you see an incident like that where somebody just completely blacks out as a result of the heat, and then they fall off of a trailer, or even worse, maybe they're working at heights on the deck of a high-rise building. I remember my cousin told me once when he was over in Iraq flying helicopters that the guys would chug a bunch of Mountain Dew and they would come out to get on the helicopter and they would literally fall like flies on the tarmac because it was 132 degrees. And when that heat hit them and the convection from the blade, the rotor of the helicopter, it would literally just zap them like a bug zapper, and they would just collapse to the ground because they weren't properly hydrated. They weren't paying attention to the heat and what they needed to do to prevent heat illness. So keep those things in mind. It's probably a really good topic for a safety meeting next week if you're not already talking about it. And I'd say the number one thing we can do is observe, make sure our people are hydrating, make sure that they're taking time to cool off, promote it, because obviously production rules. And for people to slow down and get caught in a cooling tent, some might feel like that's going to be looked upon poorly. So we need to set the example and make it really, really clear that, hey, this is important. It's 110 degrees today. This is something we need to do. So consider that, and we'll see you next Wednesday.